Hello and welcome to the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League, live tonight from the Daytona International Road Course. With 11 turns and 3.56 miles, this is going to be a very fun race tonight. Should be very tight and action-packed here from this this night race event that we are having. It's 15 drivers in the field so far this evening, 14 with a time here in the qualifying session. Currently, you're looking at the pole sitter, Darren Treacle, up by about 3.5 tenths over Stefan Vappa. Steve Ficacci sits third on the qualifying charts. Brian Kennedy fourth. Adam Pohl in the fifth position. This is the sixth race of the season. And the point standings pretty tight at the top of the championship here. It is Darren Treacle and Steve Ficacci leading the way. As we'll pull up the point standings, you can take a look here. Here are your favorite drivers stack up. Steve Ficacci, your points leader with multiple victories this season. And behind him, very closely, Darren Treacle, just 6 points behind. Then you've got Michael Pavolano, Brian Kennedy, Stefan Vappa, all within 15 points of Steve Ficacci. Adam Pohl, 21 points back, and then a big gap back to Clint Fletcher and company. Scott Kim, David Curtis, Colin Kortnick, all pretty tightly packed there from 7th through 10th. That is how they stack up coming into tonight's race. Darren Treacle going to be looking to try and close the gap by a few points, as he currently is quickest, as we mentioned, and will gain a couple points in qualifying alone if he can manage to hang on to the top position here. Should be a lot of fun watching these guys wheel it out here. Very fast racetrack, of course, the NASCAR Daytona Oval, one of the most famous racetracks in all the world. And the Infield Road Course is where they do the 24 Hours of Daytona, along with the high banked corners here, as you see Darren Treacle work his way onto the NASCAR Oval, turn number 1. And it speeds right now about 150 miles an hour at that point, 160 as he exits NASCAR turn 2. And pretty quick out here. 165 was the top speed that he hit, and it looks like not aiming to improve his lap at the moment, as qualifying should be concluded for him. But some other drivers still getting lap times in. Brian Kennedy trying to improve. Looks like he is going to work his way out of the NASCAR turn 2. Down the backstretch here to the chicane, which is very difficult. Go through here at over 90 miles an hour, back up on the throttle. Going to shift into the 5th gear, into NASCAR turn 3. And foot flat to the floor. As he will go on by Darren Treacle and try and improve his lap time. Currently just under 2 tenths. Slower, and actually looks like he'll be pulling in. Wasn't going to be able to hit that mark. Carlos Bonds out on the racetrack. I believe he may have missed the start-finish line by just a few seconds. Clint Fletcher out here trying to improve his lap as well. Currently 5th in qualifying session right now. Just a minute and 10 seconds left to go. And very excited for this one. This was the site of one of the most entertaining races last season. And Fletcher trying his hand to get down into turn 1 here. Overshoots it a little bit. And he will pull it to a stop here. Adam Pohl still on the racetrack. Not sure if he's trying to improve his lap time, but that may do it for qualifying. Looks like Darren Treacle gonna be your pole sitter. So congrats to Darren, once again, pole sitter this season. And he has got quite the track record. 2 wins. Steve Ficacci has 3 wins. And they're looking to try and even things out here. At least Darren Treacle is. Steve Ficacci going to try and get another one and extend his points lead. We'll have to see if he can do that here tonight from the Daytona Road Course. But 6 seconds left in qualifying. That'll tick down to 0 here in just a moment. Take a look at the starting lineup from tonight's event at the Daytona International Speedway. Of course, cheer on your favorite drivers. Let us know you're out there, who you're rooting for, and who do you think is going to win tonight's race. Track conditions 65 degrees Fahrenheit, so pretty cool out here this evening. As the field onto the backstretch, getting gridded up here just under 2 minutes to the start of this race. Let's take a look at your starting grid in tonight's event. Rolling off from the top spot, that's going to be Darren Treacle in the number 70 machine. To his outside, it'll be Brian Kennedy rolling off from the second position in the 77. Starting in the third spot in row number 2, it's going to be Stefan Vappa, the 97 machine. Steve Ficacci, he'll start from the 4th position here tonight. Starting in 5th, it'll be Clint Fletcher. Adam Pohl going to make up the 6th position. Dean Tulien starts in 7th. Peter Lanik rolls off 8th. Starting in 9th, it'll be Justin Craig, and Scott Kim rounds out the top 10. This field very tight on time, and I would expect it to be a bit like a NASCAR pack race. Going to be very, very tight. David Curtis going to roll off from 11th here tonight. Colin Kortnick going to start from 12th. 13th will be Carlos Bonds, Robert Benson in 14th, and Mike Nickham not taking a time in the qualifying session. He'll roll off 15th and shotgun on the field here tonight. Should be an exciting one here tonight from the Daytona International Speedway. The BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League. Sponsors for tonight's race, SEO Mike and Beltway Brewing Company. You can check them both out in the video description, as well as use the code Beltway Brew Co, exclamation point Beltway Brew Co, and also exclamation point SEO Mike to learn more in the chat. Hear more about them at the halfway break in tonight's event as well. As the field gonna get rolling here tonight. 40 minutes, the format for the race this evening. And that should mean about 20 laps, I believe, including a pit stop here tonight. Maybe 20, it looks like 24 laps should be the distance roughly. We'll see how close it ends up being for those final couple of laps to the ticker counting down. We want to thank you for tuning in tonight to V-Speed. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the race tonight. It does help us out a lot. A few more races with these guys this season. We will be off next week. And then we'll be back for the final 2 races of the season. Our final 3 races of the season following that. And then a little break for the winter. And we'll be back with the spring season after that. Here we go. Pace car is off. Onto the pit lane. Headed towards the start-finish line. It'll be Darren Treacle and Brian Kennedy get us going from Daytona. Into turn 1, everybody pretty orderly right now. Taking a look through the field, no contact, no mistakes yet. And they will try and filter through here into the kink on the straightaway. Down into turn number 2, it's going to be Darren Treacle leading them. Stefan Vappa in second, Brian Kennedy third, and Steve Ficacci make up the top 4. Clint Fletcher right there behind in 5th. Everybody single file for the moment, no battle for position. Oh, and contact. Around goes Vappa, and I think there was contact between Ficacci and Brian Kennedy, and Vappa off the racetrack. See what happened here to him very early on in this one. Did he just lose control all on his own? Car slips out from there, and there was contact between the 00 and the 77, but everybody able to continue onwards. And Stefan Vapa will go to the tail of the field, about 15 seconds off. But Carlos Bonds has had problems. He's just gone around as well. What happened to Carlos? On the throttle, and the back end comes out. Takes a cone with him. No contact. He'll get back rolling as well. So Brian Kennedy under fire now. Clint Fletcher's going to try and take this third position away. Steve Ficacci has gotten through to second. Now here comes the 11 of Adam Pohl trying to make the move on Brian Kennedy. The draft, a big important factor. Look at this 3 wide on the front straightaway. Across the stripe, Treacle will lead lap number 1, but this battle going down into turn number 1 is going to be very intense. And it looks like Brian Kennedy overshoots it. He's going to go really wide. There goes Lanik through. Here comes Adam Pohl. Brian Kennedy could lose another position to Dean Tulane here if he's not careful. Late on the brakes again. It looks like Justin Craig has had problems. What's up with Justin Craig here? What just happened with him? Listen, with the 71, Robert Benson. I'm not sure if they made contact. He goes sliding into the tire barrier. Let's take another look at this. Yeah, just a little bit of contact on the brakes there, and then slides pretty hard and kind of wedged into the wall there, but able to get rolling once again. He'll fall to the tail and start racing it up with Carlos Bonds for 13th. Bonds just going to let him go. I think he missed the corner there, knowing he made the mistake the previous lap. And how about Darren Treacle out in front by 3.6 seconds already after all the melee on lap 1. He's been able to drive away, but can Steve Ficacci use a little drafting help from Clint Fletcher and company? Set his sights forward to chase down that race leader. That is the distance right there. It's quite a bit. And Clint Fletcher has got Peter Lanik all over his tail, going down into turn number 1. Little wide of the mark there for Peter Lanik. He will hang on to the spot, but Adam Pohl closing in, and Brian Kennedy is recovered now, settled into the sixth position. Exciting start to this one. That is for sure. And it looked like Dean Tulane was going to take a peek there. The SEO Mike Machine. Back on the throttle. In the 7th spot. Starting in 7th, so has neither gained nor lost. And he is right here in this pack of race cars. And Steve Ficacci putting in a couple of really nice laps. He has just shaved the deficit down to 3.1 seconds. But he is on a flyer right now. No real battles in this group of race cars. Scott Kim trying to close up on Colin Kortnick, and it looks like he got a nice run out of the bus stop, the chicane there. He's going to try and make a move now. Looks driver's right. The top of the banking, the Batmobile 711. Changing it up from the Kirby car or the Mustache Machine that he traditionally runs. He's got the Batman car. And here they are side by side at the line. Kortnick with the advantage, but here we go down into turn 1. Who's a little braver on the brakes? That'll be the 32. But can Scott kind of do the switcheroo? He's going to get right back to the bumper here, and he's going to actually look driver's left. Now looks driver's right. Not able to get alongside here. Good battle between these two drivers, 9th and 10th. Farther up into the braking zone here, Brian Kennedy. 77 machine in the middle of this 5 or 6 car group. You can see, is that David Curtis kind of by himself. It looks like Colin Kortnick's starting to close up to him, but he's about 3 seconds behind Dean Tulin. A lot of work to do. Here goes Clint Fletcher all over the tail of Peter Lanick. He's going to look drivers right here as they head towards the chicane. Foley alongside. He'll back out early, though, and maybe try and get a better exit to this set of corners. Here he is. You see, closes up, but just not able to keep the power down. Lose a little bit of ground here through NASCAR Oval, turns 3 and 4. In the Ricky Bobby car. Peter Lanick looking out the back window here. You can see these guys starting to get nose to tail, side by side further back. That looks like Brian Kennedy and Dean Tulin as they race down into turn 1. No change of position there, but farther back, Scott Kim, Colin Kortnick, they trade positions back and forth, and now side by side to the beginning of the infield. Ooh, little slide on entry there for the 32, and Scott not able to take advantage, though. He's right about there. Switches back, driver's left, but just cannot get it done. Really a fun battle to watch, though. Oh, a little wide there for Colin. Here we go. Now Scott Kim going to look to dive in. 32 goes defensive, though. They'll space out a little bit here as they get back onto the oval. In terms of lap times, though, Darren Treacle really in a class of his own at the moment. Ran a 141.47. Steve Ficacci's 142.27, so 0.8 faster. I think Darren has a bit of real-world experience at this racetrack. And he is definitely showing some dominance here in this one. Already a 2-time winner this season. Trying to tie up the balance between himself and Steve Ficacci, which would be 3 wins apiece. Ficacci running second, though, trying to minimize the damage in terms of championship points lead. But how about behind him? Peter Lanick goes very wide. He'll lose some ground there. Clint Fletcher trying to get up into a podium position. Really late on the brakes. Clint was so good last season in the GT4 machines. These GTE cars, obviously a bit more power. And he has been slowly improving this season. At points is the fastest car on the racetrack, but just needs to get a good finish out of it here tonight. Oh, and he goes really late on the brakes there. Almost got into Peter Lanick, had the back way out of it, so he'll lose some ground now. Frito Sports. It does not look like Matthew Gazenda is here tonight. We have 15 drivers. He is not one of them. But Mike Nickham is out here running in 14th. He's got a new set of pedals. Getting used to those back here in that 14th position. Struggling a little bit at the moment. How about this further up? Peter Lanick's gotten passed by Dean Tulin. Did he get a little penalty? As we go back to take a look at the replay. Oh, and way off the track. Nice job hanging on to the race car, but will cost him a few positions and a bit of time. Potentially lose the draft with the rest of those other cars. Adam Pohl getting passed up by Brian Kennedy. Not sure what just happened right there. Looks like he went a little wide, but Scott Kim has gotten by Colin Kortnick now. Stefan Vapa, who, if you recall, started in third, starting to close up on the battle for the top 10. Top 15 finishers, which is everyone here tonight, is going to earn points. Stefan Vapa is closing up, though, so keep an eye on him to be quick. He's really only lost a couple seconds since the early incident. Battle for second could be brewing here. Clint Fletcher's putting down some great laps. He is the fastest car on the racetrack at the moment. The Ricky Bobby car at the Super Speedway, making things happen. He's going to do a little shake and bake right now. Look to the outside. Maybe made the move a little too soon, though. He'll try a little side draft. And he's got the run here through the tri-oval. Can he clear the 00? Fakachi's not going to let him just take it, though. He gets a charge back to the inside. He's going to be able to send it down deep in the braking zone. Really late on the brakes, but able to make it work. And how about that defense from Steve Fakachi? Clint Fletcher still very quick that time, even with the attempted pass. Here we go. The battle for second raging on. Further back, Ryan Kennedy sees this group of race cars behind him. Still spaced out enough. Nobody's attempting a pass at the moment. Dean Tullian kind of missed the corner on entry there. And he has got Peter Lanik all over his tail. Looking back past the really large spoiler here. And Scott Kim has lost a couple spots. I'm not sure if he's had an off track here recently, but he is back to 11th. After getting all the way up to 9th, he's got some damage on the right front. I wonder if he caught the wall. Went over a curb really hard here, but about 15 minutes in, currently sitting outside the top 10. Got to close up about 4.5 seconds. Here we go. Stefan Vapa looking to get to 9th. On Kortnick right here in front of him, struggling just a little bit here this evening. Doing everything he can to hang on to 9th. Going to stay in that inside lane. Catches a little bit of the apron. Here goes Vapa now. Going to look to the outside. Be a race across the stripe. It'll be Vapa in 9th. Scored at the line. Down into the turn, though. Deep on the brakes for both drivers. Vapa well alongside. He's going to go a little wide on entry. Can he hang on to it? Still side by side. Catches the grass a little bit. He's got the advantage, though, down into the horseshoe. And he will take the position away. Colin Kortnick not able to hold him off. Vapa continues to climb back through the field. Meanwhile, Darren Treacle once again in the 141 second bracket. Picking up time on Steve Fakachi, Clint Fletcher, who's been all over the 00. This will be a battle, I think, for the rest of the race, depending on the pit call and how good they are on pit lane. Nice job through the chicane right there. And nearing the halfway point in this race. I wonder if Clint maybe trying to save a little fuel. He lifted right there, not attempting a pass, maybe just trying to work with Steve. Use a little draft and try and push them back up to Darren Treacle. It's just such a big margin. Darren, and he got away, and then he's just been pulling away. And it's not like Steve Fakachi doesn't have some clean air right now. He's got a big margin. Dean Tullian, Peter Lanik, I think maybe with problems here. Take a look at what just happened. Oh, they get together in turn 1. a move by the 294, trying to get alongside. Back to another view here. He was really deep in the corner, had a nice run through, but just couldn't quite keep it pinned down to the white line there, and they both go for a slide. Other drivers try and navigate through. That is David Curtis, Stefan Vapa, and Colin Kortnick able to squeeze on past as well. But they both get it rolling. They'll lose a few spots here. Lanik back to 9th, Tulin back to 10th. That could be a battle with Scott Kim in a few laps between the 84 and the 711. That is your battle for second, though. Steve Ficacci, Clint Fletcher. You can see way off in the distance is Darren Treacle. He's already making his way to turn 1. Those guys just crossing the start-finish line. That is the difference of 5.3 seconds. Robert Benson, Carlos Bonds already over a minute behind. At this point in the race, they are definitely going to get lapped. The question is, will it happen before or after the pit stops? How much will that play a role? And a pole is closing up on Brian Kennedy. A little wide there through the horseshoe. Able to close back up here as they make it back towards the banking. Oh, little bobble there. That will cost him some momentum. Running in 5th, though, Adam Pohl, Brian Kennedy in 4th. Guy's about 4.5 seconds behind Clint Fletcher. And then you go another 7.5 seconds. That is David Curtis, who's got Stefan Vapa all over his bumper. And Stefan going to try and make the move here into the chicane. We'll see if he can make it work. Later on the brakes, going to be able to just drive around the outside. And he'll take 6th position away. Stefan Vapa, pretty good out here in his drive back up through the field. Could very well end up with the top 5 if he continues at this kind of a pace. I think about the 2nd or 3rd fastest car on the racetrack. So Stefan Vapa, one to watch. Of course, this battle for 4th and 5th not quitting here. The more they get to battling, the faster Stefan Vapa will get to them. Lanik closing up on Colin Kortnick. Behind him, Dean Tulin got turned around by the 294. I wonder if there will be any kind of hard racing between the two here. Probably not. They don't tend to encourage the retaliation in this league, and I do appreciate that. Everybody trying to race as cleanly as they can. There will always be incidents, but these guys definitely want to race, race well and respectfully, and they often are very, very good at that. And has Stefan Vapa had an issue? Did he lose connection? He might have just lost Stefan Vapa. He end up crashing out here. Oh, I see him drop, and that is it. Right at the halfway mark. Oh, and he is back. Oh, but he's still blinking. So Stefan Vapa with serious connection issues just at that halfway mark. We're going to go to a side-by-side commercial break. These guys should be coming to pit lane here probably pretty soon. We'll be right back to see how everything shakes out. SEO Mike helps businesses of all sizes achieve higher search engine rankings to drive more traffic and increase sales. Contact SEO Mike today for a free website evaluation and quote. Mention this ad for 15% off your initial setup. SEO Mike, marketing websites on the internet since 1997. Visit SEOMike.com.
Beltway Brewing Company is located in Sterling, Virginia, and proudly represents the DMV area. Check out their lineup of unique IPAs, lagers, sours, stouts, and even seltzers. Savory and delicious empanadas by Peruvian Brothers are now available in their tap room. For Beltway, go to beltwaybrewco.com and follow at Beltway Brew Co. on social media.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh!
Burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Swag.
A punch for the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it at Auto Club.
Back at the racetrack now, drivers pulling it on the pit lane. That is David Curtis. Scott Kim has already brought it in. Dean Tulane also onto pit road, just leaving. Now Mike Nickham has brought it in as well. He is 1 lap down, just getting lapped a few moments ago by Darren Treacle. The leader's yet to bring it in, though. It is there are 4 cars that have made their pit stops for the race and should be good to go to the end. Carlos Bonds, Robert Benson, 13th and 14th, yet to make their stop. They are in danger of losing a lap here, probably in the next 5 or so laps. As Darren Treacle putting on an incredible pace still in the 141 bracket. Stefan Vappa, the only other driver. He's actually the quickest of anyone the last time around. He's gotten by Colin Kortnick, and he is about 6.2 seconds behind Adam Pohl. Very well could make his way into the top 5, especially if there's any mistakes by those drivers up there. But Darren Treacle, he's going to bring it into the pit lane. Clint Fletcher going to stay out on the racetrack. Here comes Steve Ficacci as well. He'll bring it in. See who else is going to bring it down. Brian Kennedy, Adam Pohl will stay on the racetrack. There goes Stefan Vappa as well. Could go an extra lap. See if Ficacci and Treacle will be able to, if the gap will close up at all there. There goes Steve Ficacci, going to roll away. Darren Treacle going to get moving as well. This pit lane's so tricky. You're on the limiter for a long time there. Here goes Ficacci. He's at his mark there. The gap was the 5.3, 5.4 second range. It's right around that as they exit, so no real change. See if Ficacci can pick up a little time though as he gets back rolling. Justin Craig has made it to pit lane. He's off and away. Shorter stop for him. We've got to be careful that he put enough fuel in that car, the 208. I would expect potentially up here at the front, Clint Fletcher and Brian Kennedy and company would all choose to bring it in this next time. The top 6 have yet to pit. Darren Treacle leading the cars that have already made their stop. 5.8 seconds between himself and Steve Ficacci. Some time could be made up by Clint Fletcher. He's really pushing it down onto pit lane. You can really drive these cars hard, and the brakes so good on the GTE machines. He's going to pull it down the pit lane. Brian Kennedy also going to join him. He is going... Looks like he is going a little too quick here. Possibly. Just have to see if there's any kind of penalty assessed for any of these drivers. Gonna look, Darren Treacle gonna work on by all of them and go right back to second. Peter Lanick still out there. And Steve Ficacci had an issue. There is Clint Fletcher. As he caught the wall, though, did Clint Fletcher just catch the wall on pit lane? Take a look here. Oh, yeah, dipped it off into the grass, caught the wall. Not able to take advantage and get by Steve Ficacci, but still just about 3/4 of a second behind. Darren Treacle 6 seconds up the road. It is Darren Treacle's race to lose. He's got to make a mistake. I think most of these guys just racing for second at this point. Still waiting on Peter Lanick, though, to bring it down pit lane. He started 8th, currently in the top spot, running an extra lap here in the 294. We're getting into it with Team 2 lean down in turn 1 a handful of laps ago. Got a little work cut out for him here in the last 12 minutes of this race. And I believe he's going to be bringing it down. Yep, on the brakes. Pulls it left towards pit lane, nice and smooth. And there goes Darren Treacle right back to the top spot at the line. Steve Ficacci about 5 seconds behind him, 6 seconds possibly, as it will cycle here, 6.5 seconds. And Clint Fletcher is right there. Got some damage now, though, so will that hinder him? But it has really just been all Darren Treacle and Steve Ficacci this season. They're the only ones to have taken victories. Go back a few seasons to the GTE cars that we ran. It was season 2 for these guys. Hey, Andrew, how's it going? We are in the middle of it right now, about 11 minutes left in the race. It's all good. Yeah, it is about that time of year, isn't it? But yeah, pretty good race right now. Darren Treacle leading by 7.4 seconds. Steve Ficacci trying to hang on to second here. A good battle for that second and third position. And then a little ways back, Adam Pohl securely in 4th. And then good battle for 6th and 7th. But yeah, Daytona tonight. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, the road course, definitely an exciting place to be, and it's a night race here tonight. So they've put on a show for us, even with the smaller fields. I mean, this battle for second is going to be going down to the wire. I think 10 minutes left in the race. So Ficacci out in front. Yep. Yeah, Clint Fletcher, he's in the Ricky Bobby machine tonight, running in the 3rd spot. After starting in 5th, he's led a couple laps, and he is all over Steve Ficacci. But so far this season, only Darren Treacle and Steve Ficacci have won races. They'll be even with 3, and the points going to get that much closer. They were separated by 6 points coming into this. So it's probably going to be somewhere around 2 points between them for the championship, and with 4 races left. Taking a look at this battle for 7th, David Curtis. Looking forward towards Peter Lanick. He is right there, about 6/10 behind. Darren Treacle has just put another car lap down. That was Robert Benson. So only 13 left on the lead lap. Mike Nickum very likely could go a lap down as well. He's about 14 seconds up the road from Darren Treacle. 8 minutes and 40 seconds. It's going to be very close. He'll be right there with the leader coming across the checkered. It's interesting how much the draft plays a role here, even in the in the infield for these guys. I know they've got a lot of aero sensitivities, but it keeps these battles tight for a long time, even if they can't quite stay behind through the infield. They just get pulled right back to the car in front of them on the NASCAR part of the circuit, which we know all too well. Watching a lot of NASCAR races, that's the case of Daytona, right? I mean, you can't get away from anybody. Carlos Bonds and Robert Benson, though, racing. They're both a lap down, but only separated by a half second. That's 14th and 15th. This could be a good battle to the end of the race. And it is crazy the kind of speed that they carry through this chicane. It's about 100 miles an hour. It's about as slow as they get. And maybe blinking issues. It might have lost. Oh, there we go. They're all back. Lost them all for a moment. Darren Treacle out in front. Seven seconds and dominating performance. He's led all but 2 laps in this race, those being led by Clint Fletcher, who has now lost some time to Steve Ficacci. So the battle for second fading a little bit. He's got some damage on the right front from when he made contact with the pit lane wall. David Curtis, Peter Lanik, that battle not quitting. Through the horseshoe section of the racetrack. Peter Lanik going to go wide a little bit on exit, but David Curtis struggling to put the power back down. Tires are going to be hot and old at this point. He's done 19 and a half laps at really high speed down into the second horseshoe. Really deep on the brakes there for David Curtis. And that is not going to work out for him. He'll lose about 3 or 4 tenths. And this is about the only battle on the track. We will keep an eye on Mike Nickum. He's only now about 8 seconds out in front of Darren Treacle. And Darren, he has just been on fire here. This is an incredible pace from him, 141.70. About 3 tenths off his fastest lap of the night. How about this one, though? 141 flat is what I'm seeing. Not sure that's correct, actually. Yeah, 141.68. Only about 3 tenths off. It's much faster than anybody else on the racetrack. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell icon to know when we're going live each and every race. And we'll be back here Monday night with the Below the Double Yellow Contender Series, and then Tuesday night with the Premier Series as they kick off their chase portion of the season. Had a wild all-star night between those two series. And ultimately, Angelo Ronis came away with the victory. And he's going to be looking to try and carry that momentum into the chase. They're going to be at the New Atlanta, which is going to be a pretty wild race in the next gen, and also the Xfinity machines. Have you been able to run there at the New Atlanta, Andrew? Been able to experience that? They're going to run the oval in the GTE cars? Or are they going to run, is there a road course configuration there? No, the oval, the New Atlanta oval, the repave. Yeah, I've seen a couple races, and also the real world racing in the, in NASCAR. It's just a tiny super speedway now, or a 1.5 mile super speedway. So expecting chaos. Yeah, if you like the drafting here in iRacing, as we've got a big run by David Curtis closing up to Peter Lanik for 6th and 7th. Speaking of drafting, but yeah, if you like drafting, I think Monday and Tuesday are going to be some fun races to watch. And championship on the line. Seth Hatchell won the regular season championship in the Premier Series, but looking to get his first victory of the season potentially next week. He's been on fire here as of late. But tonight, it is all about Darren Treacle. He is well out in front. The gap now 8.4 seconds. He is just, I don't understand. He's not falling off at all. Just been able to be so consistent. And he's only got a couple more laps to go, working through the chicane on the backstretch. 2 minutes, 23 seconds on the clock. And he did put Mike Nickham a lap down. So only 12 cars on the lead lap. Looks like Colin Kortnick will safely be able to finish on the lead lap. About 30 seconds up the road from Darren Treacle. But that is just the kind of pace. I mean, we've only run, 38 minutes, and he's been able to lap 3 different drivers. And that's basically 2 minutes of time. I mean, he's made up 2 minutes on some of these guys. That's just incredible pace. But Steve Ficacci, he's run a very solid race himself. Started 4th, running 2nd all night long. Just not able to keep up with Darren. And he's been able to pull away from Clint Fletcher, though. That was a good battle for quite some time. And these guys have been going at it here since the pit stops. Nose to tail, pretty much. David Curtis going to try and peek drivers left. Not going to have any room there. Go on board with him. Yeah, big slide right there, though. That'll hurt his chances. Gap about 3/4 of a second. He'll have about a lap and a half to make that up. Peter Lanik has been very quick here tonight as well. Started 8th, running in 6th. He did have a moment with Dean Tulane. Ultimately, it's not hurt them both all that much, but they got together. Darren Treacle, though, working through NASCAR oval side, turns 3 and 4. He'll be coming back to take the white flag here with just about 20 seconds remaining. Or is he actually going to be able to run an extra lap? Not sure how that works. He'll go. Yeah, I think that is correct. So we'll keep an eye on that. But either way, he's in good shape. 9.3 seconds. Take a peek back at David Curtis, who's not been able to close up now. But he's got the help of the draft. He'll close a little bit on the front straightaway. And it goes up the hill, tries to break the draft down into turn 1. White flag is in the air, so this is the last lap for all of these drivers. Look at the dive down into turn 1. He made up a ton of time on Peter Lanik. He is going to be right there down into the first horseshoe. He's got to not make the same mistake he did the last lap by getting on the throttle a little too early. Little bobble right there, but a bit better than before. The only battle for position on the racetrack, other than Scott Kim and Brian Kennedy, 10th and 11th. And really deep in the braking zone. Locked it up a little bit. Yeah, there's a little bump down there, I think, and the wheel gets a little bit light, but here we go. up onto the banking. This is going to be potentially the first opportunity, but he's too far back, 7/10 again. Well, Scott Kim is gotten by Brian Kennedy. I'm not sure what happened to Brian here. Started second. He's got some kind of problem, though. The car does not look underneath him. He is losing a lot of time. We'll go back. David Curtis, Peter Lanik through the chicane. He's about a half second. Can he make that up with the draft? It's going to be very close. Meanwhile, Darren Treacle, your winner here tonight. Steve Ficacci second. Clint Fletcher third. Go on back. Keep an eye on this. The drag race back to the line. It's going to be Peter Lanik, I think, going to be able to hold him off. And he will for 6th and 7th. Good battle, though. Brian Kennedy about to go through the same thing with Scott Kim. About a half second between those two. Good run. Brian Kennedy's closing a little bit faster, but he's going to be a little too far back, I think, as well. I think he got to be about 3/10 back, but he's got a nice run. Look at this. Yeah. Scott Kim will beat him back to the line, and he'll finish in the 10th position. Great job there by the number 711. But how about Darren Treacle, your race winner? In dominating fashion, once again, Darren Treacle going to be coming home the victor. As we will go ahead and probably pull him straight in for an interview tonight. You can find him here. Actually, he is not in the group. We're going to go to, actually, there he is. He just joined. We're going to just pull him right into the booth and ask him a few questions. Darren Treacle, Adam, and Andrew in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy. Hey, pretty good, man. And what a dominating performance here from the Daytona International Speedway. You lead all but 2 laps just during the pit cycle there, but you win by 9.6 seconds. Did this race go a little differently than you expected?
A little closer in qualifying. Yeah, I just tried to put out a little bit of a gap there on the first lap, and then I think Stefan spun behind me, which kind of helped me out, obviously, with the gap. And then I just tried to keep pushing from there to kind of increase it each lap if I could, But yeah, it went a little differently. I thought for sure Steve would be there with me for sure, or Stefan, or even Brian. But I'm obviously I'm okay with the turnout. So
yeah, it makes it a little bit easier to just run your own race out there when you're kind of all by yourself. But dominating performance. You'll tie for most wins this season with Steve Ficacci at 3 apiece. We go to VIR next week. How do you feel about going out there?
Oh, I always feel good about going to VIR. I know the track well. I've raced it many times there in real life and in the sim. So I was just there for the national championships. So I like VIR. It's a good track for the M8. So yeah, I look forward to it.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to an exciting race there as well. But man, dominating again. Your 3rd victory of the season. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, give a shout out first to the league sponsors, SEO Mike and Sten over there at Beltway Brewery. You guys do a great job of broadcasting it, and Scott sets everything up for us. So, and just thanks to everybody that actually comes out each week.
Awesome, Darren. Well, congrats again on the victory. Dominating performance here from Daytona. So go celebrate. And we won't be broadcasting next week, but we'll be back here with you guys in a couple weeks. So good luck at VIR, and we'll see you then.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Right. That is Rico. Now we're going to pull in 2nd place finisher. That is going to be Steve Ficacci. Hey, Steve, this is Adam and Andrew in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I do. How are you guys?
Hey, not too bad, man. A pretty exciting race all around, but you kind of find yourself just trying to hold off, the number of Clint Fletcher there for quite a while during this thing, and Darren was kind of off on his own world. But how were you feeling throughout the race, and was there anything you could have done to keep up with Darren?
Well, so I've raced Darren here a lot, and he's always faster than me. So I typically just kind of hang on to his bumper and try to get him in the pits or get him down the stretch on the final lap. But I don't have a lot of time to put into the sim during the week. So typically my practice is qualifying, which, like I said, I was okay with because I knew I wasn't going to be able to beat Darren in pace. And in qualifying, I think I was third at the very end, which I was happy about. And then it looks like Kennedy got a tow from too lean to just leap us. You know what I mean? He jumped into second, so that shuffled us all back a little bit. And then I just couldn't get through quick enough. I think Kennedy was a little timid in turn 2. So by the time we got to that horseshoe where Stefan spun, it was just Darren had like a 2-3 second gap already, which I kind of knew was going to be tough. And then from that point on, I was trying to go as fast as I could go, wasn't making any inroads on Darren. And then I realized I'm running out of fuel. And I know we have a pit stop, but I was using more fuel than I should have, which kind of told me the car picked up some damage. When Stefan spun, I don't know if I actually hit Kennedy because I'm curious if he picked up any damage, but the splitter was wrinkled a little bit. And it just knocked a few tenths off the car. And once I pit and I was able to get that fixed, we were able to run a good pace again. Would have been interesting to be behind Darren with a clean car and see where the race shuffled out. But once that accident happened and that was a few seconds back, I kind of knew it was over, at least for the win. Darren's not going to make a mistake that far out. And, I didn't feel the guys behind us really had the pace to race too long with us. Maybe they could hang out with the draft for a bit, but that was about all. That was all they could do.
Yeah, it definitely was kind of a battle from for second and on back, right? I mean, you and Clint had a good battle, and then there were multiple kind of 2-car battles going on throughout the field. But ultimately, you were able to stretch it out for second even. But
that first half, I just tried so hard to put a second on him in the infield, and it's just so hard to do, and I couldn't do it. But like I said, once I got the damage fixed, it was much easier, and I was able to get a little bit of a gap, and then it was pretty much over.
Right. Yeah, and it's been a great season for you here. You got 3 wins, and now you and Darren both tied with 3. We go to VIR next week. How do you feel about going out there and trying to get back to the top step?
I'm going to tell you that Darren is going to beat us all by so much at VIR. I've been racing it down for a while in this league and another league, and we're usually pretty close. But when it comes to VAR, if he doesn't win by 15, 20 seconds, I'll be shocked. He is very good there.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see you guys battle it out. But maybe you can get a leg up on him. You never know.
I have to take him out in turn 1 is what's going to have to happen.
Hey, do what you can, right? But no, it's always fun to watch you battle out there, Steve. And congrats on second place tonight. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Thank you. It was actually really hard to make it to the sim between soccer games and things like that this week. So I need to thank my wife once again and my kids for running out of their game for me so we could get home and jump on in time for qualifying.
Awesome, Steve. Well, congrats again. Second place. Good luck at VIR next week. We won't be there to watch it, but we'll catch you the next week and see you then.
Thank you. See you then.
Thank you. Vikachi, second place finisher, will go to third place now. That is going to be Adam Pohl. Pull him in. This is Adam Pohl. This is Adam and Andrew in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I do. How's it going?
Hey, not too bad, man. Looks like you come home third place here tonight. Kind of an up and down race. So a lot of action on the racetrack. A lot of battles. You come from 6th to finish in 3rd. How do you feel about the finish out there tonight?
Well, I'll start off. I'm pretty sure Clinton was 3rd, but then he had a bit too much fun after the checkered flag.
Oh, okay.
So I think the results will put him back there. But anyways, I had a good race. I kept it clean, which didn't happen in practice last night. So I was glad to do a little better tonight and bring it home there.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of fun watching you guys battle it out there. High speed, the drafting and all of that. We go to VIR next week. How do you feel about racing out there?
That'll be a fun track to drive. A little more interesting than Daytona, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that one should be quite exciting. I know you guys have had some good battles at that place in the past as well. So,
yep,
should be a fun one. Anybody want to give a shout out to for, I guess, 4th place tonight?
Well, I'll give a shout out to Clint for finishing third, and I mean, if the results put me in third, then I'll just thank him for having too much fun there.
Yeah. I know you guys like to have fun after the start finish line there. So, but great run tonight, Adam, and we'll catch you in a couple weeks.
Yep. Thanks a lot. Good night.
Thanks, you too. All right, that is Adam Pohl. Having trouble with my mouse right now, so it looks like he was able to move. So let's get Clint Fletcher in here and actually talk with him. Clint Fletcher, this is Adam and Andrew in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, we thought you finished third. Weren't sure what happened with the results, but looks like you had a lot of fun out there after the start-finish line. But what a battle between you and Steve Ficacci throughout the race tonight. You had the little issue coming off of pit lane, and I think that ultimately, that damage might have hurt you a little. But how did you feel about the race starting fifth and coming home up there on the podium?
I knew that this track is huge with draft, so qualifying, I think, really didn't matter. We all knew Darren was going to run away with it. So surviving lap 1 from last night, Wednesday, our practice, 3 or 4 people spun lap 1. So if you could survive maybe the first 2 laps, I think the draft train, you could definitely run away with people. And that was just my idea, to tuck in behind someone, save as much gas as I could, and then see what happens. But I think I finished P12 now because of my little crash at the end. It is what it is. I'm not really in points this season, so doing it all for fun.
Yeah, we were thinking that they'll probably cycle the standings back to where you ended up, but yeah, I mean, a really exciting race, and it was fun to watch you battle and make up those positions. We go to VIR next week. How do you feel about going out there?
VIR, that's a really fun track, and I think depending on what setup we run could be really interesting. I know we did low downforce for Daytona, and that really proved difficult because, as you guys probably saw, a lot of people spun. So hoping we do medium downforce, but we'll see. And I think depending on the turnout, it should be a really interesting race.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun to watch you guys wheel and deal out there. But we'll see if you can finish back up on the podium. Third place here tonight. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Like always, you guys for putting on the broadcast, and Scott and Brian for hosting this league. Nothing is possible without you guys, so thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for taking some time here after the race, and we'll catch you. Well, we won't be broadcasting next week, but we'll catch you in a couple weeks. So have a good race at VIR, and we'll see you then.
Thanks, see ya.
Thank you. Clint Fletcher comes home on the podium here tonight. And let's see. Let's go to your results for tonight's race at Daytona International Speedway, the road course here for race number 6 in the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League. Darren Treacle gets his 3rd victory of the season. Behind him, it's going to be Steve Ficacci. Adam Pohl comes home 3rd. Stefan Vapa 4th. Peter Lanik 5th. 6th was David Curtis. 7th, Dean Tulane. 8th was Justin Craig. Scott Kim comes home in 9th. Ryan Kennedy finishes in the 10th position. 11th was Colin Kortnick. 12th, Clint Fletcher. 13th, Mike Nickham. 14th, Carlos Bonds. Robert Benson rounds out the field here this evening. Not a big field, but a lot of great battles throughout the race. Hope you enjoyed watching. We'll be back next Monday. The Below the WL Contenders series making their return to the channel. So it should be a lot of fun to watch those guys at the new Atlanta Speedway and the Xfinity machines. So you won't want to miss that. And then Tuesday night in the Premier Series, going to be also from the Atlanta Speedway. So tune in Monday and Tuesday for a couple of very action-packed races. And until then, have a great night.